Christmas is a time of hope, joy, and love, a season that reminds us of what truly matters. For decades, WFAA has shared stories that uplift, inspire, and celebrate the best in everyone. From acts of kindness to moments of hope and heartwarming connections, these stories we're about to share with you have touched our hearts and brightened our days. We're honored to share this celebration in the spirit of the season, and for the community we're proud to serve.
Christmas toys for little girls and boys are in the limelight this month, but those Santa's helpers that let their shopping go until the final week may find themselves out of luck.
It appears that this year either the jobbers or the wholesalers didn't order adequately in New York, or else the manufacturers didn't anticipate the demand. We can't get any more toys like Baby Alive doll, the Evel Knievel motorcycle. Some of the games are extremely hard to get.
Even though many of the stores are out of the new items, there are still plenty of the old favorites left. Stuffed animals, electric trains, and bikes are always big sellers at Christmas. But it seems that this year, parents are taking greater concern in the type of toys they buy.
What are some of your big sellers so far?
Probably items in the arts and crafts and the science-oriented type categories. I think that parents are looking for things that are of quality and that are educational to the child.
Stores also report a big increase in the number of games they're selling. Maybe with the weather we're having, people could be anticipating a long, cold winter indoors. This is Patty Burns, Channel 8 News.
On the outside, it looks like any other Dallas school bus, but on the inside, it closely resembles Santa's workshop. The 55 4th through 6th graders at Sudie Williams Elementary School decided long ago that their school bus would be something more than just transportation, that it would reflect the way they feel about Christmas and each other.
I told them that they could decorate the bus if they wanted to, so they started right after the 1st of December, and they did it all at home at night on their own time. They made everything in there for Santa Claus and Christmas tree.
Bus driver Helen Elliott has a special interest in her cargo. She's also a teacher aide at Sudie Williams. She sees the children all day long and says, why not make it as pleasant as possible? So if you happen to be driving along Forest Lane in North Dallas and you hear a yellow school bus humming to the tune of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you may just stop and give it the once-over, because it's Dallas' first Christmas school bus. Betty Hoover, Channel 8 News. Retail stores like Sears and Valley View Mall are jumping for joy this Christmas season. Customers may be cautious about what they spend their hard-earned money on, and they may be looking for bargains. But many are buying the expensive stuff this year, like the electronic games that attach to TV sets, or one of 3 types of home pinball, ranging in price from $200 on sale to $700. Would people pay that much for a game? You bet. Salesmen say this stack of Pong games will be gone after 4 hours. Microwave ovens are a big hit this year, too, not to mention those electric kitchen gadgets that make that domestic work a little easier. Retail sales were bigger at Christmas time last year, but the Sears chain expects a last-minute rush in the next 2 days. Merchandisers for the chain expect to see about 5 to 6 million shoppers before it's all over. But there's little rest for the weary. The after-Christmas sales start Monday. Betty Hoover, Channel 8 News.
You want to be a Christmas present? Huh? You don't? You don't want to be a Christmas present? Huh? No.
Cats, kittens, and little puppies make great Christmas gifts. But to head off a batch of bad mail from various animal protection organizations, let me first point out that wrapping them for the appropriate presentation is not a good idea. You'll see why shortly. But first, you need scissors, some cellophane tape, an easily applied bow, and paper. You should cut footholes in the paper, as well as areas for the top and bottom of the present to stick out. But getting the present to cooperate can frequently be difficult.
Just put one hand in, one hand in. That's a boy, and then
The problem is it may not be in your wrapping paper, it may be in your present. You've got to pick the right cat. So we've switched cats, and this is Lally Cat. Do you want to be given away for Christmas? Huh? No. Do you want to be wrapped for Christmas? Well, when scissors and tape fail you, just ride with the quickest means possible. Maybe the best thing to do if the wrapping doesn't work is just use a simple bow and put it on his head and say, "You don't like that, huh? You don't? You don't like that? Oh, okay, all right." Well, the best thing to do is maybe just give him a big bowl of food on Christmas and say, "Merry Christmas." Yeah. Doug Fox, Channel 8 News.
They call her Mrs. Santa Claus. She's Mary Crowley, owner of a Dallas decorating and gift store, and each year she treats her 400 or so employees to a Christmas shopping spree at a local department store. It's been a tradition for more than 20 years. But this year, it's different. The employees got a chance to shop for someone other than themselves as well.
So we added 416 children who would not have anyone else to shop for them. And our people then, each one of our employees, not everyone, but most of them, had a child, and we furnished them the money, $50 per child, and they were given this money and time and the child to shop for. So they shopped, hi, Stubby, thank you. They shopped for that child first, after they had gotten all the shopping done for that child. Now then, they're going to shop for their own families, and they'll have $50 for each one of their own children and themselves.
The employees were out early this morning before the store opened its doors to the wave of last-minute Christmas shoppers, and even Santa got up early for the occasion.
Hi, what's your name?
The clothing and toys bought for the needy were all gathered and loaded onto trucks and vans and taken to Channel 8 studios. The gifts are being distributed today by Channel 8 Santa's helpers, who have been busier this year than ever, making sure a lot of youngsters have themselves a very Merry Christmas. Toby Marsh, Channel 8 News.
On a street that gets a lot of Christmas sightseers, here among the lights, ornaments, and plastic Santas, is this Santa, who for hours every night last week braved the weather, aching muscles, and curious children to stand on the porch and move mechanically. In fact, most people thought he was a machine, but Paul Miller is definitely real. How many hours do you stand here some nights?
About 3 or 3.5 hours.
Don't you ever get tired?
Sometimes.
Why do you do it?
Oh, it's fun watching the kids. What's especially fun is when the dad's driving down through here and he's leaving the street and he's fed up with the traffic and everything, and the kids say, "But Dad, that's not a mechanical Santa. He really waved at me." And you can almost see the kids' eyes light up.
He is the father of 6 kids himself and says he does this just for the sake of the children.
What do you want for Christmas?
A real gun, I get that big.
A real gun? What do you...
Maury Moore, Channel 8 News in Garland.
People come from as far away as Oklahoma just to see the house with all the lights. It's located in far southeast Dallas and is the home of L.K. Gwynn and his wife, Adria. For the past 26 years, the couple has been decorating their home this way, but this Christmas, Mrs. Gwynn won't get to enjoy the bright colors. She's been suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease the past few years and recently contracted pneumonia. She'll be spending Christmas in the hospital. Because of his wife's illness, Mr. Gwynn didn't really feel like decorating this year, but Mrs. Gwynn insisted.
She realized that the thousands of people come here to see this, and she didn't want to disappoint them. There's more than ever has been, and I think it's on account of the television coverage last year. And I talked with her today down at the hospital, and she said, yes, she wanted the lights on and for me to keep them going.
Until last year, Mr. Gwynn strung the outside lights all by himself, Mrs. Gwynn the inside. Because of their age, a couple of neighbors now help, but the Gwynns still insist on paying for the electricity with no help from anyone. It's one bill Mr. Gwynn says he doesn't mind paying.
This Christmas, 26 years. I'm just trying to fulfill her wishes, you see. I know it's hard. It's really hard for me.
Toby Marsh, Channel 8 News.
The celebration began with Christmas carols, all your old favorites, led by Associate Conductor Christian T-Meyer. But later, the mood grew somber. Media personality Shan Tall, who narrated the symphony program, reminded the audience that while they sat safe and warm in the music hall, 50 of their fellow Americans were held against their will in a foreign country with no end to their captivity in sight. To them, Shan Tall sent a message.
We send you a Merry Christmas. We send you our love. We wish you, all 50 of you, peace and joy and peace. God bless you. Come home safe. Come home soon.
And the Hallelujah chorus from Handel's Messiah was sung for the hostages.
Father, help us to remember the holiness of tomorrow. Father, help us to remember that tiny baby in Bethlehem who lived and died that we might know the meaning of life and that we might have life eternal.
The Christmas prayer brought a familiar message. The Santa Claus, however, looked a little unusual.
Merry Christmas, brother. Ho, ho, ho.
But Christmas at the Stewpot is a departure from what most people are used to seeing. The Stewpot is a living room for the street people of Dallas. And on Christmas Eve every year, there's a special kind of Christmas stocking here. A stocking cap filled with a pair of socks, tobacco, candy, and a book.
This is all the Christmas they'll have. A lot of these people will be sleeping under bridges tonight, and when it gets cold, that stocking cap will come mighty handy. They'll appreciate it very, very much. The Stewpot is their family.
The Stewpot serves hot meals to Dallas's Skid Row population every weekday of the year. Located in the basement of the First Presbyterian Church, it's funded by a number of churches and individuals and manages to survive on a budget of just $38,000 annually, with a lot of volunteer labor thrown in. The pot's best-known volunteer is Big John Bell, who doubles as Santa Claus. He may look unconventional, but what he lacks in convention he makes up for in sincerity. Byron Harris, Channel 8 News.
The bond desk at the Dallas County Jail was crowded today with people trying to bail out friends and relatives for Christmas. But not everyone is so eager to get out. In the kitchen upstairs, some inmates who will be spending the holiday behind bars were singing what they call a Christmas carol.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade, Lord, in the water.
While this may not look like much of a setting for a traditional Christmas dinner, the prisoners are planning a real feast for tomorrow. The trustee inmates are cutting up 920 pounds of turkey roll with cornbread dressing on the side. That'll be topped with 150 gallons of gravy made from 180 pounds of giblets. And to finish it off, there's 180 pounds of pumpkin to be made into pie. It's a meal rumored to be so good by jail standards that some folks get arrested just to enjoy it. The sheriff's deputies say that in years past, some people down on their luck have hidden under overpasses on Christmas Eve and jumped out at passing police cars in hopes of getting arrested.
We used to have a regular, what we call a regular crowd coming in every Christmas simply for the meals. But the weather is a lot warmer than usual, and therefore there's not as many coming in today.
Nevertheless, the county expects to serve Christmas dinner tomorrow to more than 1,400 prisoners, regardless of whether they chose to celebrate the holiday this way.
God's gonna trouble the world. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Carol Nealon, Channel 8 News.
It's busy. I'll try later.
Christmas is the day you pick up the phone to direct dial your relatives and you get a busy signal almost before you complete the number. The lines are clogged up and you've been rejected. Some folks get frustrated and try to go through the operator.
Yes, I'd like to place a person-to-person call.
I'm sorry, our circuits are busy. Can you place your call later, please?
But over at the Southwestern Bell office in Dallas, the operators say they can't guarantee any faster service if you use them, just more expensive service.
Because we're using the same equipment, and it really just overloads the equipment that much more. We'd rather that they keep trying the call, unless they really need some assistance, you know, for an emergency situation.
Direct dialing today charges 35% below normal weekday rates, and operator-assisted calls never change. They're always much higher. Spokesmen for American Telephone and Telegraph say there's a little slack-off in long-distance calling between 3 and 6 p.m. Christmas Day, so if you've had trouble getting through so far, now may be the time to try again, after the news, of course. Rates for direct dialing don't get lower until 11 p.m., and by then you may be too full of good cheer to pick up the receiver.
It's ringing. Merry Christmas. Well, how are you doing?
Jane Horwitz, Channel 8 News.
8-year-old Angie Murray likes television, but getting to choose some of what will be shown is even better. Thanks to a group called the American Women in Radio and Television, Children's Medical Center now has a videotape system that's hooked into the television sets in the patient rooms. Each day, the children decide which videotape cassette will be played, and the choices range from Lassie to the Peanuts Gang.
It's very therapeutic if you consider that on some of the other choices, recently there have been funerals as part of the storyline, people with terminal illnesses, which just really isn't appropriate, I don't think, while a child is recuperating in a hospital setting.
So for a few hours a day, the children set the channel on 3 and get ready. And in December, their choice was obvious, a Charlie Brown Christmas Special.
I've seen this and I've seen some Snoopy shows. I've seen a lot because soap operas are much more boring on younger.
The videotape project is called Soaring Spirits, and it's living up to its name. Dennis Johnson, Channel 8 News.
I'll be home for Christmas.
For almost all of us, the haunting words of that song stand for Christmas. The season is built around it. Fires on the hearth, sleigh bells through the woods to Grandma's house, family and friends together. And so it was that we brought together our family of Wednesday's children. They all watch and know Mr. Peppermint, and he invited them to be on his show. We arranged a little Christmas party in the next studio with a cake, cookies, punch, and a visit from Santa Claus.
There, Lloyd. There. Yes. Yeah.
Lloyd is 3. Billy Ray, his brother, is 4. Their mother told welfare officials she didn't want them. Usually quiet and shy, we were to see just a little later how assertive one could be. Andres was here, in a brand new velvet suit for Christmas. He's still afraid of balloons, but he's putting 3 or 4 words together in sentences now. Ronnie, the loner on our visit to the Fort Worth Zoo, is still a loner, absorbed in his own world and the electronic football game brought by Santa Claus. Darryl, Ronnie's younger brother, got a football. Some familiar faces weren't here. Bill, who tried and tried to catch a horse for me to ride, missed the party for the best reason of all. He's spending Christmas with the family that's about to adopt him. Shelley and Duell also were absent, the first children adopted from Wednesday's child. They're already with their new family. It's only been 2 months or so, but Jenny seems much older now, wearing a new Christmas dress, a present she got to open early for the party. Reggie is having a high-speed day. He's extra hyperactive today, perhaps caused by all the sugar in the cake and cookies. In school, his attention span is longer, and when he gets going too fast, he sits on his hands. But he was having none of that today. Then it was finally time to be on Mr. Peppermint, and we all went into the studio. Almost all, anyway. The day just got to be too much for Lloyd, who never moved from this spot throughout the entire show.
We are celebrating Christmas morning out in the backyard here at Peppermint Place with good friends.
We talked, met Muffin, sang some songs, talked some more, and went back to the toys. That's the way one of the kids described the day. It was a fun day, and we all voted to do it again next year, wherever we are.
I'll be home for Christmas. If only in my dream.
69-year-old Mama Griffin isn't sure how it happened, but she's grateful. A month ago, Mama Griffin and her husband were living without electricity. The power was shut off because they couldn't pay the bill. They tried to survive with kerosene lamps and canned food, but then her husband suffered another stroke.
I prefer a job right now. If I could get one, I'd try it. I love to work and have always worked all my life. And I've never been in this condition before in my life.
But Mama Griffin can't work anymore. She has a heart condition too, and on a fixed income of $320 a month, she and her husband haven't been able to pay all of their bills. So a local charity paid most of the Griffins' electric bill for them, and the lights are now back on.
We prefer being on our own if we could do it. I'd much rather work. This is so embarrassing to me.
But Mama Griffin's Christmas present didn't end at the power company. She was also taken to a local grocery store to pick up $70 worth of food.
Just don't know what to say. I don't know how to take it.
Mama Griffin's financial problems weren't solved with these gifts. She still owes $132 on the electric bill, $85 on the gas bill, not to mention her husband's medical bills. But Mama Griffin isn't worrying about that now. She plans to surprise her husband with a Christmas dinner they never expected.
This is the greatest Christmas that I have ever witnessed in my life other than the Christmas with Jesus. So I'm grateful for everything that's happening to me. This is the greatest Christmas I've ever had.
Steve Forsberg, Channel 8 News.
For 300 days a year, Billy Aldridge claims he's just an average guy. It's the Christmas season that changes Billy.
This is my Santa Claus that goes around the rocket.
Billy is one of those Christmas exterior decorators. You've seen others who do the same, but nobody seems to do it quite like Billy. Everything he puts up was once thrown out by somebody else. In true Christmas spirit, Billy revitalizes old, worn-out Santas and any crazy combinations he can dream up, using whatever is available.
Yes, sir. Everything I can find, especially something that's going to be thrown away. And so like old spools, wire comes on, and crates that TV sets have under the bottom of them. Just all kinds of scrap stuff I used and painted up. And it looks pretty good at night.
Billy's Christmas display is made possible by a heart full of love and a wheelbarrow full of extension cords. Billy even spray paints his ligustrum bush in the front yard, festive fluorescent green. And then there's the yearly film epic.
Academy Award.
Could anybody pay you to do this?
Not really, not really. If they was going to pay me to do this, it would take the fun out of it, really.
Around Christmas time, Billy's house needs no address. Everybody seems able to find it. Their eyes behold thousands of lights, mechanical gizmos, and the premiere of Billy's epic motion picture.
Oh, it's really great. I just haven't seen anything like this in a while.
Quite a tradition, really. It's become a local event.
And the only time I ever like to hear a child cry is when I see the mother leading it away by the hand. Kid hollering, "Mama, I want to see some more." And they said, "No, this is the third time we've done had you by here."
Soon, Billy's life will be shocked back into reality by his electric bill. Yet he continues to kindle a Christmas spirit with the help of just about everybody he meets.
No matter where I can go to the bank or anywhere, and as soon as I tell them my name is Aldridge, well, they say, "Are you not the one that, and they don't know what to say, you know. So I say, "You mean has all the Christmas decorations?" "Yeah."
John Prock, Channel 8 News, Corpus Christi.
Leslie is long past the time when she opened her Christmas presents with her teeth. She was, after all, much younger then. Now, Leslie is practically 3. She has been very good, for the most part, this year. And so it's only fair that Santa brought that little red wagon she had her eye on. Everybody needs a little red wagon. It's enormously useful for carrying passengers, or for helping around the yard, or for taking occasional trips. A young lady never knows, after all, when Daddy will need company on one of those mysterious journeys Daddies take to up the street or to around the corner. Somehow, the Christmas Red Wagon is different from all other red wagons. Maybe because it comes at a time when Christmas is still new and decorated with delicious mystery itself. There are all kinds of Christmases and all kinds of gifts. Sometimes the gift is a red wagon, and sometimes the gift is an almost 3-year-old with all the world still around the corner. But of all the kinds of Christmases, this is the one for fathers and daughters that never happens quite this way again.
Throughout history, Santa Claus has been known by many names and pictured in a variety of costumes and conveyances. Since the earliest illustrations of him, we've never been sure exactly what St. Nick should look like, but always a white beard and full rounded belly were the basis by which every Claus was judged. This story is about 2 Kris Kringles, both who fit the requirements, but who also epitomize what Santa Claus is and always should be.
It's just good. You see the kids really, really believe you are Santa Claus. And you have to think back in your time and when you really remembered.
And it's impressive on a small one to see Santa with a real beard, you know, rather than the fake beard. I'm 52. But when I have the suit on, I feel older, a lot older. I mean, when people ask me how old you are, I feel like saying 1,000 years old. Merry Christmas to you.
John Motes epitomizes the very character he fully emulates. Each Christmas he visits nursing homes, jails, and hospitals, handing out gifts for people who might not otherwise have a Merry Christmas. Still, he says the giving is nothing compared to the getting.
Started 7 years ago, and I just got the idea one day to call up the nursing home and see if they needed a Santa Claus. And they said they did, and I've been doing it every year since. You know, I don't need anything else. This is my high. I love it.
And you put yourself in their position. But I got a pretty good memory, you know, and wow, there he is, bigger than life, the real man himself, you know. You know, you're on. Ho, 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 ho. Hi. Let's face it, we're all hams. And I guess I love it. Hi.
Dean Price started growing his beard 16 months ago on a whim. And when he decided to play Santa Claus at a Richardson Mall, well, that was more or less on a whim, too.
The second day went to 3.5 hours because the guy didn't show up. And the third day, it was from 10 till 3. And 5 hours on that bench is enough. Up and down, you know.
and it really gets tiresome. But beautiful. It's hard to describe.
A big smile.
Nobody said it would be easy, but what job benefits?
Oh, come on, Andrea.
Dean Price and John Motes, two Santas who deserve a rest. And a little anonymity, even if it meant today getting out the clippers.
I just want to be a little lower key. A lot of people ask me, when I told them I was going to shave it off, they said, "Oh, come on, you're really going to shave it?" I said, "You bet." Now I'm having second thoughts.
John Frank, Channel 8 News, Richardson.
Welcome to George House. Each year, Old City Park extends a special welcome to all who wish to delight in the traditions of a Christmas past. Kitty Clyde is one of the hundreds of volunteers at Old City Park.
This was the very warmest room in the house back around the turn of the century. In fact, the rest of the house was so cold that they would bring all their plants into this room because it was the only room in the whole house where they wouldn't freeze.
The volunteers are called docents, the Latin word for teacher. All year long, they share their knowledge of Texas history with visitors to the park.
We tour thousands of school children through the park every year and give them a taste of what life was like in the early days in Texas.
Old City Park takes on an extra special charm during the holiday season. Each year, the park has a candlelight celebration. Volunteers decorate the historic homes with homemade ornaments, and they demonstrate crafts of the period. Kitty Clyde invites everyone to join them in this volunteer effort.
There is nothing that will take importance over a group of 60 or 70 school children who are waiting at the depot to take a tour down at the park, and there is nothing, literally nothing, that will stop us from coming. And it's this kind of commitment by all the volunteers at City Park who realize how important what we do is. And I would say to any volunteer, give it a try.
Volunteers and visitors alike share in the spirit of Christmas at Old City Park.
I think all of us like to reminisce or to go back in time thinking of what life was like in a simpler time when we all had time to spend with our families. Our lives were not so hurried.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas from Old City Park.
Channel 8 wishes happy holidays to Kitty Clyde and all the volunteers at Old City Park in the spirit of Texas.
Limousines are common sights around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so it's really not a surprise when one drives by your house. But when it stops and a jolly fat man dressed in red pops out, now that's something you don't see every day. Santa paid a visit to Lily Bowlby's house to deliver a special gift.
Lily and I have been getting a lot of good reports on you this year. I certainly have.
Lily's husband Cliff made it a very Merry Christmas indeed when he decided to buy her a fur coat for Christmas. As part of a luxury sale promotion, Sanger Harris arranged delivery by limousine-driven Santa to 20 big-spending customers.
We want to do something special for our customers this year, and it looks like we did something special by her reaction.
Yes, it pays to be good. Be a good girl all year and see what Santa brings you.
Lily's husband of 26 years was glad to fulfill a promise he made many years ago.
I promised her 20 years ago that she'd have one of these one day. We were able to get it for her this year.
All right.
Merry Christmas! Be by about 11:45 tonight.
As for Santa, he's never too busy to stop and listen to anyone's wishes, and a promise from Santa is as good as done. Tonight, Santa will park his limo and hitch up his sleigh. After all, those 8 tiny reindeer have had plenty of time to rest before making tonight's main delivery. Gloria Campos, Channel 8 News.
From Santa in a limo to an officer spreading holiday cheer, the spirit of giving takes many forms during Christmas. While some are delivering joy and style, others are giving the gift of time and sacrifice. We'd like to introduce you to a Texas officer who back in 1985 made it his mission to help his fellow officers enjoy the holidays with their families.
Most folks had the day off today, with the exception of maybe a firefighter or a police officer, like Pat Grogan.
Be at the 7300 block of South Hewlin.
Officer Grogan has been with the police department for the past 20 Christmases and has patrolled the streets of Fort Worth for more than half of them. He says he really doesn't mind it now that his children are grown. It's something like his Christmas present to the officers with little ones.
Since I've gotten to where I've got enough time in, why I've been able to go ahead and allow myself to work so that some other officers that are younger that have families at home can go ahead and have the day off.
Officer Grogan says his family has become used to holding up Christmas dinner for him. Everyone, with the possible exception of his 3 grandchildren.
Hello, Cody. How you doing, bud?
Officer Grogan and his wife Connie have been married for 26 years. They say sharing their Christmas with the police department is something they've become accustomed to.
Oh, you kind of get used to it. You kind of work around it, you know, and like I say, you kind of get used to it.
Well, when you hire on in this job, you know it's not a 8 to 5 job and weekends off. You have to expect that the days off you get are not always going to be in correlation with the particular holidays that come up. So you have to work sometimes.
But Mrs. Grogan says one of the reasons she can live with her husband's work schedule is because he always makes up for it with a special Christmas gift.
Is this for when you get a deer?
That's for
I thought you had that in mind.
Catherine Vargas, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth.
Every holiday at the Michael home in Dallas, a vigil light is lit. A censer is filled with incense, and 3 generations participate in a morning prayer.
So everything around us, the rhythm of life just changes. With the services, the rhythm of life slows down. And we just feel our faith, and we feel the importance of the religion of the holiday.
Greek Orthodox tradition is particularly strong in the Michael family. Like most homes on Christmas Eve, the kitchen here is bustling with activity. Holiday pastries, including baklava and galata burriko, are turned out by the dozens. And a special bread is made for the Christmas offering.
Chris, our son, whose name's day is on Christmas Day, will take it to church, and it will be blessed by the priest and made into communion.
The Michaels attend Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church in Dallas. Father Nick Katinas knows these precious traditions are also fragile.
We are now a 2nd and 3rd generation. If I did not have a mother who constantly reminded us of how they celebrated Easter and Christmas and the holidays in their village, I probably would not remember these things today.
Elizabeth Bailey is doing the same for her children and her children's children, taking the time to preserve a special way of life.
The grandchildren like it this way I do it. I grew up with that kind of religion, they still like it, and they keep up this one. A little bit more extra work, but we enjoy that.
Yeah, it's important to me to do all this, and it wouldn't seem right if we didn't. It'll be hard to continue it when I get older because things will change, and I won't have my grandmother living with us, but I'll try to.
There may be a reason Santa is saying ho 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 all the time. His reindeer may be tax-free. Under the Reindeer Industry Act of 1937, reindeer and reindeer products belonging to a native Alaskan are basically tax-free. And under the new tax law, those old tax-free provisions still hold.
I think what really happened here was that Santa managed to do a little bit of lobbying on his own.
For those with a keen eye for reindeer, this opens up a lot of possibilities for tax shelters. For instance, what if you formed a joint venture with an Alaskan and rented reindeer, say, to pull a sleigh? Couldn't a reindeer's work be considered a reindeer product?
I guess there's potential for that. I mean, they really don't define what reindeer products are. I mean, so I don't know what a byproduct of a reindeer would be.
Unfortunately, reindeer are only seen around here once a year, and that's late tonight. However, we're sure that clever accountants in Dallas and Fort Worth will be seeing this story and trying to figure out how to make the Reindeer Tax Shelter work for you. So look for their ads in Friday's paper and have a Merry Christmas. Byron Harris, Channel 8 News.
For nearly a century, work on Carol Rimley's family Christmas garden started on Thanksgiving and did not end until Christmas Eve. In Baltimore, Christmas gardens are a German tradition of building miniature scenery around the tree. It is an old world Christmas custom that may be dying. '79-year-old Carol Rimley inherited this animated Christmas garden built by his father in 1898. Rimley's father carved most of the small park scene from peach baskets and cigar boxes. Hidden below it, an ingenious belt and pulley system powers the garden. Traces of the Christmas garden tradition can still be seen in windows of East Baltimore row houses. Some elderly residents continue to decorate for their grandchildren. But much more elaborate Christmas gardens once filled front windows. Mary Orzek says those days are gone forever.
And I used to look in every window. My husband used to get so mad because I'll walk away and I'll peep in there like peeping Tom. And I used to love to look, especially when they used to have Christmas garden.
Mike Citro took a week off to finish his 26th garden in time for Christmas. It's a tradition passed down from his father. This is the more typical Christmas garden, combination winter village and electric train layout. Mike's wife Jean also lends help. Cotton simulates snow-covered hills. Scale models built by Mike duplicate homes of relatives and friends. Baltimore's folklorist says a few people are eager to bring back the tradition.
And it may very well be that we're just in one of those cycles where maybe a generation will skip it and then the next generation will demand it.
Christmas gardens are not unique to Baltimore. Folklorists believe the practice may be common to German communities across the nation. Baltimore recently held a how-to workshop on Christmas gardens. It's a good sign that a neighborly Christmas tradition may be reborn. Robert Riggs, Channel 8 News, Baltimore.
It's relatively rare these days when a bag of apples, rather than a toy, brings a smile to the face of a child. But this is East Dallas, where 4,000 Southeast Asians live in the space of 1 square mile. And the Christmas messages here, while wrapped in the unfamiliar, carry some of the most cherished sentiments of the season. Santa and his helpers wear blue suits. Ron Cowart and Tao Dam, both Dallas police officers, enrich the lives of hundreds of children. Most of their mothers are widows. Most of their fathers killed in Southeast Asia. Kim Nam Vo and her children have been in the United States just 3 months. Her husband could not escape from Vietnam. There is little hope that he ever will. Still, this holiday, which many Southeast Asians associate with their Lunar New Year, represents a fresh beginning. Officer Dam, toiling 15 hours a day, tending the sick, mediating disputes, gives tirelessly of himself to make the holiday season here a warm spring instead of a cold winter. The North Pole in East Dallas is a storefront, sponsored by the Dallas Police. Officer Cowart convinced his department to open it when he became aware of the needs of the community. The pictures on the wall are not Christmas cards. They recall the brutality, death, and heartache of the war in Southeast Asia. But the gifts which flow here are substantial. 40 tons of rice so far this year, 108 pairs of shoes for local children this week. And in the best tradition of the season, Ron Cowart has gotten as much as he's given.
It's taught me to appreciate the things that I've got and to love the things and to respect the things that I've got. I no longer take life for granted. I no longer take my material possessions or my loved ones for granted anymore, because all these people represent tortures, destruction, loneliness, heartbreak, and America to them is freedom. And I realize that something I've got in my hand could be taken from me one of these days. So I want to appreciate and love what I've got. And that's what they've taught me.
Santa's sleigh long ago finished its rounds in East Dallas, but the shoes on tiny feet here will outlast the toys under many trees. And the smiles the shoes brought to some faces are the truest gifts of any heart. Byron Harris, Channel 8 News.
Each November, more than 100 children begin rehearsing for their small roles in the Nutcracker. The charm of this ballet is that Clara's Christmas toys come to life in a dream sequence filled with a fairy princess and a wooden nutcracker turned handsome prince. The story allows children to dance and perform, sharing the stage with professionals. The young dancers learn discipline as well as grand jetés, according to these little mice.
Whenever you dance, you have to dance the right way and not be funny and stuff.
So it's serious business, this ballet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. But at the same time, you're having fun?
Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes the littlest ones get the biggest roles and become instant professionals.
Well, the first time you do it, you're like scared, but the second time you like see how easy it is, then you're real excited.
This year, art students from DISD were invited to compete in a Nutcracker poster contest, introducing young artists to another form of culture. The results show these 5th and 6th grade winners have captured the magic of ballet. And expanded the imagination of their minds. Sarah Pence, Channel 8 News.
Some children will be snug in a hospital bed tonight because they're sick or recovering from surgery. The local children's hospitals know they aren't the first choice for Christmas Eve, so the staffs work hard to include holiday spirit in the doctor's orders. For some children, an early present was a trip to Texas Stadium for the Cowboys game. And at Children's Medical Center in Dallas, doctors and nurses weren't the only ones walking the halls.
Well, Merry Christmas, Christopher. How are you doing? Oh, I see you're playing with one of our favorites here, Rudolph. Yes.
For 8 years now, Mrs. Claus has been coming to make sure Santa knows about the hospitalized children and their wishes.
A fire truck? I bet you like a red fire truck, huh? Well, let me add that to my list. Santa has some nice surprises that nobody knows about ahead of time. Maybe he could leave one of them for you? Well, Santa sent me down here because he heard you were going to be in the hospital tonight, and he wanted to find out if you'd sent him a Christmas letter. You're going to be here when he comes tonight, but you're going to be fast asleep, aren't you, Ryan?
To believe or to have that sense of wonder and excitement. And it's still possible even if a child is ill and in the hospital.
Give me a Christmas hug, okay? That's a good boy, yes. And you get well. Santa and I want you outside playing around with everybody, okay? Okay.
Illness and injury mean not all children will be home for the holidays. But thanks to a lot of caring people, those boys and girls will not be forgotten. Dennis Johnson, Channel 8 News.
How merry was this Christmas? Look no further than the curb in front of your house or out in the alley, as the case may be. Hard physical evidence is graphically snatched from its setting and tossed into a sort of analyzer on wheels. It prowls the neighborhoods of America, sampling the kind of Christmas we all celebrated. No sophisticated charts or computer models here, just boxes with bows for toys, vaporizers, and luggage. In their own peculiar way, barometers on the national economy.
It was a nice Christmas, well, mostly we haven't got all the trash in yet, but sooner or later it's going to come.
Ain't too many people are spending too much money because, got a war going on across the sea, and too many people just trying to hold on to the money.
Christmas was just, yesterday? I mean, there's going to be some trash out here come next week.
One other thing certain in life besides death and taxes is trash, and the leading garbage index indicator shows slower sales this year than last. Still, these experts have some after-Christmas advice.
Don't set too many of them big Christmas trees out there because them suckers are sure are heavy.
Don't make it too heavy. Don't make it too heavy.
The bags too heavy. Don't make the bags too heavy. They put everything in the whole house in one bag.
In the spirit of the season, remember where it is that your glad tidings of Christmas ultimately wind up. The guys that work out here would really appreciate it. Doug Fox, Channel 8 News, Arlington.
Even though he's worn this same red suit for years, Santa still struggles to get all the pieces on just right. Actually, it can be confusing remembering the different looks requested by malls and stores where he appears. Each has its own idea of how Santa should be presented.
We're all set now.
Many places featuring Santa now provide a private setting where a cozy chat can take place, personal and memorable.
Hi, Brendan. Hi, Erwin. Hi, Justin.
Shopping malls are the one place where parents can count on seeing Santa at just about any hour. And showcasing the jolly old fellow does get competitive. Hulen Mall has chosen a fantasy setting, yet more and more malls are turning to a more traditional set for Santa, reflecting homey trends in other areas of life.
I think you will. I think you will see that as time continues and people become more rooted in family once again, that you'll see the traditional settings of Santa and his houses, and then the people around him look more like you used to see Santa, you know, back in the 50s and the 60s.
And have you been good?
Yes.
Is that your daddy over there?
Yeah.
Has he been good?
When Santa appears at Mrs. Baird's Bakery, he's genuine, from the size of his tummy to the sound of his ho-ho-ho. And at North Park Center, Santa is down to earth, homey, telling stories to children before he takes them on his knees.
1, 2, 3.
If it's not exactly what we had as children, it's what many think children should have. Some reality added to Santa, making him more the real thing. After all, it's a generation that prefers natural to artificial, and mall managers say that's the direction Santa is heading. Karen Kelly, Channel 8 News.
Southwestern Drilling Rig number 152 sits in the Gulf of Mexico, 15 miles out from Cameron, Louisiana. 30 workers spend 2 weeks at a time out here. Same routine every day. When they're not working, they're eating or watching TV before turning in. 12 hours on, 12 hours off duty each day. It can be dangerous work. They make good money, work hard, eat well, and miss their families, especially at Christmas time.
To me, my own feelings, okay, Christmas is a special time of the year to be with your loved ones, okay? And since I can't be with my loved ones, I'd rather be here with my other family.
Yeah, it's my first Christmas. It's rough. It's really rough. It's you know, we had to open presents early. I don't want to get too emotional on it because I got me and my boys are kind of close.
I worked about the last 6 or 7 Christmases in a row. I'm about to get used to it.
The rig is operated by Southwestern Offshore Drilling Company of Houston. It costs about $8,500 a day to operate it with no guarantee of success. They've drilled almost 8,000 feet and hope to hit gas at 13,000. About half the men are from Texas, the rest from Louisiana and Alabama mostly. The drilling goes on day and night, day after day, until they hit or close down the operation and tow the rig to another spot.
You always have difficulties when you're punching holes into Mother Earth, and we've had our difficulties out here, but a little sense of humor keeps things in perspective.
You know, we're not all alone out here. About 15, 20 miles straight out that way. That's our closest neighbors right out there. Everybody say hi to them out there. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas to you.
The telephone is in much demand during the holidays as each man catches up on the activities on shore.
Hello? Hey. Who's this? Carl? Yeah. Oh, hi. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the gift.
Christmas dinner is the biggest of the year.
But out here, we just cook a good meal for them, you know, try to brighten their day up. It's all we can do.
It'll be a week before most of these men are taken ashore by boat or helicopter. And Christmas simply means another working day on the calendar.
Got a lot of water out here. No snow, but a lot of water.
John Pronk, Channel 8 News. She arrives early before the crowd. Since Sophie Gordon was a child growing up in Poland, she loved to skate, a love she never lost.
When we got home from school, we used to pick up our skates and go to the river that was frozen over, and that's where we used to skate.
When you heard there was going to be a skating rink, what did you think?
I said, I'm going.
This is the second season that downtown Marshall, Texas has had an outdoor ice rink. It's a chance for Sophie to get into ice skates that her husband Joe bought her 40 years ago. He won't skate, but knows how much the sport means to her.
She always wanted to go skating, and we bought those skates long time ago, didn't have a chance. Last time she was skating was about 4 or 5 years ago in Arkansas.
50 years ago, they met in a refugee camp in Germany at the end of World War II, both from Poland and who survived in German labor camps. Rather than return home, they immigrated to East Texas and changed their name from Grzinski to Gordon so folks could pronounce it. They made Marshall their home and gained many friends.
How did you know we were here?
Beef phoned me. Oh, sure. Oh. Got to come down and see this.
Great. I feel like a new person. I feel like I'm 25. Instead of you know what. You don't fall on your shoelaces.
Joe and Sophie raised 2 children, have 2 grandchildren, and are celebrating 50 years of wedded bliss.
That was the best Christmas present we came up with in 50 years, almost.
The skates.
Right.
The only present she remembers in 50 years?
That was great fun.
John Pronk, Channel 8 News, Marshall.
It is called the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity, built in 1984, where 10 sisters live and work and pray. A grill or screen separates them from the outside world. Even groceries must be purchased by a volunteer layperson. Only on rare occasions do they venture outside.
So see, it's symbolic. It says, yes, these people are different in the sense that they have consecrated, dedicated themselves totally to God for the good of the world.
Stand up and talk out loud. Don't be afraid.
Most nuns either teach or work in hospitals, but not the Carmelites. Their work is to pray. The Descalced Carmelites, which means the shoeless Carmelites, was founded by St. Teresa in 1562. Today, there are 800 Carmelite monasteries, 4 of them here in Texas. They celebrate daily Mass on Christmas, too, for anyone who wants to attend. And always, someone comes.
It's a quieter, more prayerful atmosphere, and I think it's good for the kids to be in an atmosphere like this.
It's so beautiful and so reverent that they like to be a part of it.
It is a difficult life, 6 years of training before a novitiate can wear the black veil, and then vows of obedience, chastity, and poverty, and hours steeped in prayer.
When people are busy in the world, we are here within the cloister praying for them.
And at Christmas time, they pray even more in thanks for peace in both Bosnia and in Israel, and they give thanks for the holiday itself.
We rejoice that every year we have this opportunity to celebrate this great mystery again and again and again. It's like a renewal every year. We can begin anew, that we can renew ourselves and find within this little child something that maybe we missed throughout the year.
And on Tuesday, the prayers and chanting start again at 5:30 in the morning. They call it their gift to the world, given not just at Christmas, but on every day. Dave Evans, Channel 8 News, Arlington.
Oh, boy, there you go.
She never hooked up the mule, so this Miss Vicky knows, so she must hook this mule up if she want to ride with Santa Claus. Is that right?
That's right.
It's a big day in this South Dallas neighborhood, especially for the kids.
I'm gonna ride today.
Willie Strong, a.k.a. Santa Claus,
But this way?
and members of the Soul Brothers Riding Club are once again holding their sort of urban trail ride.
What's the name of this one?
Shevels. And there go
What's this one?
Pee-wee.
Pee-wee?
Yes.
Each Christmas time, it allows children and adults in this South Dallas neighborhood a chance to saddle up and ride for themselves on one of almost a dozen of the club's horses and ponies. Big kids with horse experience help the little ones.
Like that. Look at you.
A lot of work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At least they got the want to learn, I guess you could say.
Hey, we're ready.
The ride through the neighborhood is eventful.
Oh, God bless you. Oh, God.
The group is hitting full stride by Volga Street.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, that feels we
With Santa making some stops along the way to give away goodies.
He brings the neighborhood together. Everything that the neighborhood is lacking, he just pulls it all together with the love that he shows in the community.
I'm really happy. I've been sick for 13 years, but that don't stop me. God give me strength to go on and deal with these little kids, and they all love me, and I appreciate that.
This gathering has gone on for several generations in step and even in tune.
And all the reindeers loved him. And they started out with Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. You go down in history. You go down in history.
John Pronk, Channel 8 News. Don't be fooled by blue skies and bright sunshine. The water isn't fine.
It's right at 50 degrees.
But Santa doesn't mind the cold, at least not this Santa.
Some crazy, I guess.
Nor does one of the elves mind making the rounds this day on water skis.
Because friends stick together.
24-year-old Greg Hagan of Carrollton and pal Pete Tank of Louisville have a Christmas tradition to fall back on. Every holiday season, they water ski around Cedar Creek Lake. Greg's father Wayne drives the boat now, but when it comes to cold weather skiing, he's been there, done that.
I used to do it too every January. Wife would pull me around the lake, so I've been down that road, but it's his turn now.
Imagine if it's this frigid in the boat.
I think it's cold. It's a lot warmer in the summer. I think I'm crazy.
Think how cold it must be back there. And it's not like Greg doesn't have enough excitement every day at work.
He's air traffic controller in the Navy, stationed in Grand Prairie.
Santa's got to be nimble making that final approach and landing himself.
That was better than last year.
Greg's mom captured the great fall of Christmas '95 on videotape. This Christmas, the crowd on shore called out for an encore.
One more. I gotta please the crowd.
So, with the roar of a motorboat and the familiar cry,
It's Santa Claus!
Santa proves once more that he's a tough old codger with the stamina of a 24-year-old. John Pronk, Channel 8 News, Cedar Creek Lake.
The final moments of waiting are filled with happy anxiety for Martha Paisley. In just moments, Christmas dreams of sugar and spice and everything nice are going to come true.
I can't tell you where my level of excitement is. It's just enormous. And I think that if they could measure it, we probably would be off the scale.
Friends and family stand outside the airline gate 2, awaiting a special Christmas bundle flown all the way from China. Her name is Rachel. For 10 months since birth, she's lived in a Chinese orphanage waiting for a family to love her. For Martha, the first glimpse of her granddaughter is priceless. The first hug, so sweet.
Oh, I thought I'd cry, but it's just wonderful. She's just so soft. Yes, you are.
Philip and Sabrina Dellinger couldn't have children of their own, and several adoption attempts here failed. Chinese orphanages filled with discarded children became the answer to their prayers.
We wanted a family so much, and it's so much easier to go through the Chinese adoption than to try here in the United States. So that was the solution for us.
Now, a decade of disappointment is ending. And in China for the last few days, new daddy Philip has been learning the joys of sleepless nights.
I tell you, the first night we had her, I slept 2 hours. She slept fine, but I slept 2 hours just because of nervousness.
But as his little girl clutches her daddy with tiny hands, then smiles, Philip and Sabrina know nothing can ever top this feeling. Rachel has filled their hearts and given them a magical Christmas gift, the gift of family. Janet St. James, Channel 8 News.
67-year-old Red Bastine retired years ago, but not from playing Santa Claus each Christmas.
I enjoy seeing the children, and actually, the parents have just as good a time as the children do.
Red starts growing his beard out in September to really look authentic. Then he volunteers to do Christmas parties free of charge, like this staff party at a North Dallas hotel.
Santa's here. Oh, I don't charge because it's just a fun thing for me, and I only do a few places. How are you? What's your name? Brandy. Look at my list. I think I got that down.
I've known Red for about 13 years. He's a very kind and gentle man.
But he wasn't always so kind or gentle.
It's quite a transition from professional wrestler to Santa Claus.
That's right. Red Bastine is a retired professional wrestler. Starting in 1947, he wrestled around the world for over 40 years.
I raised my family, put my kids through school as far as they wanted to go and everything, and wrestling was very good to me.
He often wrestled in Dallas and decided to retire here after leaving the ring. Now, playing Santa Claus is a high point of the year.
He's got that deep voice, I think from getting karate chopped in the throat. Next year, we're going to get him to go around Dallas as much as possible.
Give Santa a hug. Oh.
Red knows Minnesota Governor-elect and former pro wrestler Jesse Ventura. He plans to attend the inauguration, but for now, he's busy.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody.
And for those who've been more naughty than nice, well, this Santa knows how to deal with that.
Ooh.
John Pronk, Channel 8 News, Dallas.
She plays and has fun like any ordinary third grader. But at a young age, Karina Chavarria Chaides has taken some extraordinary steps to help others.
One day I had an idea that I wouldn't give any presents. I wouldn't get any presents for me on my birthday party, but for the kids at the Brady Center, and that's just what I did.
The Brady Center is a multi-purpose social service agency. The Catholic Charities nonprofit center annually serves about 7,000 to 8,000 fixed and low-income East Dallas residents, many of them senior citizens, but also many families with children. And that's who Karina's idea helped. This toy-packing frenzy was the way she celebrated her 9th birthday 2 months ago. The toys were brought by the children Karina invited to her birthday party. At her request, there were no gifts for the birthday girl. Instead, each guest brought one donation, and some many more, for a total of 300 gifts to give to the Brady Center.
It's giving gifts, and not just giving gifts, but giving things that they need, and just giving love.
It was very special. It was something that she thought of out of her heart herself, and it was just made it that much more special because she wanted to share. And that's one of our philosophies here at Brady Center, is sharing and caring.
Are your ears cold?
Karina's mother says with a birthday just 8 weeks before Christmas, her daughter learned all about receiving presents early on, but she wanted her to learn about giving too.
We just felt it would be best just to go ahead and have a way to give to other kids that will do without not only on their birthdays but at Christmas. So that's how it started a couple of years ago.
Like her friends, Karina is looking forward to getting presents Christmas morning. But with 2 years of giving under her belt, she's already making plans for future giving.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do it every year.
Do you want to make it bigger next year?
Oh yes, much bigger.
Ana Martinez, Channel 8 News.
Love, generosity, and hope are what make the holiday so special. A young girl's selfless birthday gesture shows how a small act of kindness can go a long way. And speaking of spreading the joy, let's head back to 1999 and learn about a company that put a sweet spin on the season with their amazing holiday treats.
Long one right in the middle.
They've been written about,
that one.
sung about. Few things are more about Christmas time than a candy cane. And few places make more of them than the Lindale Candy Company. This small East Texas candy producer makes some very big canes.
I want one of the thick, fat ones that just really make them look a lot juicier. Yeah.
They're good. It's a novelty thing more than anything. They give them for gifts.
That one look good. That looks good to me.
A lot of businesses order 6-foot, 8-foot sticks to give to their clients.
The company is in Lindale, Texas, between Mineola and Tyler, and has made all sorts of candy for a half-century. But at Christmas, the candy cane takes priority. Melissa Terry and her family bought the business this year.
The man that had this before us was here for 53 years, and it was second nature to him. But to us, it was a little more difficult.
Thank you.
It's a fun place. It's a lot of fun.
A candy cane starts by boiling corn syrup, water, and sugar. A lot of sugar.
I wouldn't even know where to begin to make sugar-free peppermint because it's straight sugar.
The concoction is cooled, scraped, spun.
Everybody's got to be together, and we all have to work as a team. Wouldn't hurt a bit.
Then the colors are put together. It's rolled by machine, snipped, rolled by hand, packaged, and allowed to cool in its familiar shape. They make suckers, even doll dresses out of peppermint. But the candy cane is king. And we know 3 teenagers this Christmas who are either going to eat big or go pole vaulting. John Pronk, Channel 8 News, Lindale, Texas.
Federal Express workers began the morning early and made sure they delivered all the Christmas packages they had left.
There you go.
Thank you. A box.
Yes. One of many delivered today. There you go.
This worker says he had been averaging more than 100 deliveries a day this Christmas season. That's 30 more than off-season.
I think this is from their grandmother. They call her Birthday Meemaw.
Susan Norman and her children, Sarah, Haley, and Michael, couldn't wait to open the box and see all the treasures inside.
Look at this, too. We got cards. Sarah got a card. I bet this is mine. Here's my card. Haley got a card.
At local post offices, the other side of the last-minute rush.
How are you today?
Just fine.
Does it need to be there by Christmas?
No, it's not going to get there by Christmas. I've already called and told them it's going to be late.
So they know it's going to be late.
Yep.
Gifts sent by express mail within 600 miles will make it in time because carriers will deliver on Christmas Day. Other gifts wrapped and ready are just a little too late to make it in time for the big day. Roger Lee says that's okay because he's actually ahead of schedule, sending his parents gifts.
This will be early for them, so it's usually about the New Year's Day when I get them there. So they'll be happy.
Some folks were still working on their Christmas cards, while others say sometimes the holiday procrastination is not by accident.
But of course, wouldn't do it any other way. It's a holiday tradition.
A tradition that will surely carry on to next year. Yolanda Walker, Channel 8 News.
Merry Christmas.
She certainly wasn't expecting us.
We saw all the cards outside and wanted to know what you're doing today.
We're having Christmas dinner. You want to come in?
Sure.
The Allender family has plenty to celebrate. It's the first time in 8 years they've all been together for Christmas.
It's going to be a very Merry Christmas at the Allender household.
You don't have to know this group of family and friends to relate to them. They exhibit that sense of togetherness displayed in homes all across North Texas this Christmas Day.
How overjoyed are you to be here today?
Oh, very much so. I don't have any other family.
The year's events reminded everyone how precious family can be.
I do think about the 9/11 and family and lots of love.
Makes it a little bit more special to have everybody together. And a lot of people flew here and did fine.
For grandfather Mac Elliott, it's a time to reflect on what he calls past success.
What do you mean by that?
They grew up to be like this. Terrific.
And you got your cheese grits.
Let's see.
Cheese grits.
All right.
Texas style. This will be your spinach casserole.
As they prepare to feast on Christmas dinner, these folks are savoring life, each moment, and taking nothing for granted. Around the dinner table, a spread of good cheer and fun.
Oh, no, it's a joke.
Let's go.
Should I tell the joke?
Yes, tell the joke.
Okay, girl, I found a penguin. Boy, why don't you take it to the zoo? Girl, I took it to the zoo yesterday. Today we're going to the cinema.
It will be a Christmas to treasure. Holiday wishes echoed in many homes like the Allanders this holiday. Yolanda Walker, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth.
Well, we do everything, don't we, Trey? Can you give me some? There you go. See, he's just now this week using his arms on his own.
1 week ago, 17-year-old Trey Howell spoke for the first time.
Hi. You're sweet, Trey.
Since the July 7th traffic accident in West Texas that nearly killed him.
Do you want me to rub it? Okay. He gets with all this tone and muscle spasms, it's hard for the boy, but he hangs in there, doesn't he? Are you precious? Yes. Does Mom love you?
Yes.
Does Brittany love you?
Yes.
Yes.
He spent 55 days in intensive care, was comatose for 5 weeks. When his high school football team, the Odessa Permian Panthers, came to Dallas, fans and teammates showed support for Trey, who was fighting for survival at Zale Lipsche Hospital.
He's putting up a fight, and he's going to fight, and he's going to make it. He's going to be there.
There you go. That's awesome, Trey.
Slowly, he began to recover.
I mean, really, we thought maybe we weren't going to have Trey much longer, and to have him like this, we'll take it, and this is great.
Trey, can we get a touchdown?
Now Trey is getting a 10-day break from intense physical and speech therapy to go home to Odessa for Christmas.
Bye, Trey. Tell her do a dance.
Are we going home for Christmas, Trey? Yes. Who's coming to see you when we get home? Santa, what's he bringing? Presents.
1, 2, 3. It'll be an uncomfortable 6-hour ride to Odessa, but nobody's complaining. They say it's a miracle Trey is going home for the holidays. Don Wall, Channel 8 News.
Pilot David Snell has checked his aircraft. It's fueled and ready, while one of his passengers, Shane Bolden, checks inventory. One large diamond. Shane hopes to put on his girlfriend's ring finger high over downtown Dallas.
I'm going to propose to my girlfriend tonight. We've been together for about 2 years now, so she thinks we're just going to go and look at Christmas lights here over Dallas, and we'll see what happens.
For the past 12 years, David has offered flights from Addison Airport to see Christmas lights.
Yeah, just like that.
He calls it Starlight Flights.
Oh, you don't?
But some flights turn into airborne marriage proposal opportunities, too.
Different testaments of love. 12 years of doing this and probably 130 marriage proposals. I've almost seen it all.
Shane's girlfriend, Mary Cunningham, has never flown in a small plane, but she's a trooper. By the way, she thinks the video camera is just to shoot people looking at lights. The engagement, at least Shane hopes, is a surprise. He soon knows. They hit 2,000 feet over downtown Dallas, and he pops the question. Can't hear him or her over the engine, but let's just say it worked. And worked. And worked. With a diamond on her finger and a tear on her cheek. Before either of them knows it, they're back down to earth, at least technically.
I'm happy, very happy.
A little bit surprised?
Yeah, it still hasn't sunk in yet.
So next time you'll have to go up and really look at the lights.
Yeah,
exactly. Did you see any lights?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think I saw one light.
John Pronk, Channel 8 News, Addison. Sally Chavez waited for her husband.
He's been gone about 9 months.
Brian Jones for his son.
So we're just all excited and just waiting, and we just thank the good Lord for the opportunity for him to be back.
And Rhonda Novak waited with her sign welcoming
my son, Jared Bohan. Very excited.
They came early to the DFW airport to greet their loved ones returning from military duty in Iraq.
I don't need nothing else, just this right here. Right here.
20-year-old Sergeant Jared Bohan is with Fort Hood's 4th Infantry Division. His family's all here to greet him after 9 months in Iraq.
Oh, I tell you what, I was tickled to death. I'm proud of that boy. I don't know what to do.
Sergeant Bohan was on the scout team that captured Saddam Hussein.
Well, it was amazing. I don't really want to talk about me, but I'd like to talk about 110 Cav. They played an important role in it. And it's like the icing on the cake. It just made the whole trip worthwhile when that happened. And I was very glad to be a part of it.
We were wondering if Jared was involved. We knew he was there, we just didn't know how involved he was. And 6 hours later when Jared called, he said he was there, had his hands on him, and he captured him.
And what did you think at that time?
I couldn't be more proud and excited just to hear that he was alive and well, and that he was a great part of that.
For all these heroes and their loved ones, the time spent back home will go too quickly. Specialist Tiffany Green knows as she and her fellow soldiers prepare to board a plane and go back into harm's way.
I think my hardest part is to have to say goodbye to my family again. Yeah.
There were even some gifts this Christmas Day, but the safe return of loved ones, the highest on everyone's list. John Pronk, Channel 8 News, DFW Airport.
And it controls different enclosures, different boxes in the yard. And it tells each strand of lights to either turn on, turn off.
Jeff Tchaikovsky says it's a simple concept. Simple perhaps if you're a systems engineer for Frito-Lay like he is. His Christmas display runs on a high-tech mesh of hardware, software, wiring, and 40,000 lights.
Knock on something, we haven't had a single problem this season.
The Tchaikovskys started working on their display back in early November. They use 3 songs that keep repeating over and over. It took them 12 hours to program the lights to one song that lasts under 4 minutes.
Thank you.
Got enough, give me one more.
How long did it take you to do that?
It takes about 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
And several months of planning.
Consider what it takes to put on a show like this. 92 amps of power, 1.5 miles of extension cord, and more than 3 miles of wiring just in the front yard.
My wife and I, it's just the two of us. We don't have any kids of our own yet, and we do this for everyone else's kids in Frisco.
The lights like go da 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 da. That's what I like.
Anyone who drives by to see the display can listen to the music on the radio. Tchaikovsky uses a small transmitter to broadcast the music on frequency 107.3. His low-powered signal travels all of 800 feet.
We were just trying to figure out how it was done, and we can't really figure it out, so very inventive.
It's beyond us.
Yes.
I think it's awesome. It's our 5th time here. This gives families a time to come, enjoy the lights for a few minutes, and forget about the rest of their day.
This is a Canon in D major. But this is the original board that my brother used. I started playing about 7 years ago. I learned by watching my brother Terry. Terry Heinley was the original glass player here in Texas, and we had a group together called Glass Notes, and I played guitar with him. He played the glasses, and we lost him in '97, unfortunately, and I picked up the glasses then. The most popular name is the name that Benjamin Franklin gave to it, which is glass harmonica. That instrument spread across Europe, and people like Mozart and Beethoven wrote music for it. Use your fingers, you rub the top of the glass. As long as the glass has a stem, you can usually create enough friction to make the glass vibrate. Every glass is water-tuned. But my brother always said, if you want to learn how to play the glasses, you have to go out and get them individually. You have to go out and get your own glasses, and decided to do this. I went out to every thrift store, licking my fingers, rubbing glasses, until I found enough to make a scale. And I think there's probably about 30 glass players around the world. I make a living doing this. I play at Renaissance festivals mostly, play in the streets, as you can see. I didn't intend to keep going this long, but people do enjoy the glasses, and it's something that sort of honors my brother, yes. Thank you very much.
This is the way the Spells family has spent the last 6 Christmases, treating Kayla and Yvette, both Mexican orphans from Juarez, to a wonderful holiday. It's part of a missionary program with an orphanage in Mexico. The girls, now 11 and 9 years old, came to the United States paid for and sponsored by American Friends. But not this year. Danny and Liz Spells and their daughter Courtney Murphy were notified at the last minute that U.S. immigration authorities would not permit the girls to enter the country.
It was like somebody sucker punched me. You know, I was devastated. I was devastated for them and for my wife and family that these children were not going to be a part of our Christmas like they had been for the past 6 years.
They're total girls. They love their clothes. They definitely love their pink and purple and blue, so.
As usual, the Spells had already made sure a pile of gifts was waiting for the girls under the tree. Airline tickets were purchased from El Paso to Dallas, all paid for by the Spells family. The U.S. consulate, despite the fact that it allowed the girls in since 1997, refused them visas the day before their scheduled arrival. The Bureau of Immigration and Customs in El Paso said the decision came from the American consulate. But a spokesman said, "We can't relax our standards. Who's to say they are orphans?"
It made no sense whatsoever. I couldn't understand what possible reason could they deny these children.
Other children in the program, bound for homes in Michigan and Pennsylvania, were also not allowed to enter the United States. As unwrapped packages sit under trees across the country, supporters hope the program is not dead. Byron Harris, Channel 8 News.
More and more folks not only spend their time decorating their homes for Christmas, but their loved ones' grave sites.
This is my son. He died in January the 2nd of 1992. He was 28 when he died. Yeah, here's another one, the little bulbs that came off the tree right down there.
Ruby Buchanan's been decorating his grave since he died.
So I think everything's pretty good.
Adding to the trend are growing numbers of Asian and Hispanics in North Texas. For them, it's a time-honored part of their culture. For others, it's a modern twist on an ancient desire to honor the dead.
So we come down and decorate each year and everything, because, you know, he's still part of the family and stuff.
At the Restland Cemetery in Garland, Christmas displays come in all shapes and sizes. Families obviously put a lot of thought and planning into them. The only way to put a wind chime 30 feet up in the air is to bring a ladder.
Folks are starting to step out a little bit and bring solar lights and bring Christmas trees that light up during the night and spend a lot more time and a lot more energy and money.
While some cemeteries restrict graveside decoration, Restland encourages it between Thanksgiving and early January. After that, they cart off 10 construction dumpsters full of decorations at their own expense.
And families who have been doing it for many years, it's a tradition. They know when to put it out and they know when to come and get it.
Not everyone approves of how other families decorate their sites, which proves even in death, some neighbors still can't get along. But at least some can laugh about it. David Schechter, Channel 8 News.
Some would argue that Christmas is for the kids.
You trying to pull a T.O.
But I can guarantee that today, Tyrone Brown is having way more fun. Brown has never enjoyed a Christmas with any of his nieces, nephews, and younger cousins.
There's so many of them, I don't even think I know all them names. You know?
He spent the last 17 years in prison.
This Christmas is truly different because Tyrone hasn't been here in 17 years with us. 17 years.
Actually, last year, I was listening to the radio. I went outside and went to the rec yard.
When he was 17, Brown was sentenced to life in prison for smoking marijuana while on probation for a $2 robbery.
I used to tell him, I don't know when and I don't know how, but you will not be here forever.
He wasn't. Governor Rick Perry granted Brown a conditional pardon last March.
I got to remember this, that my first Christmas, this might as well say my first Christmas, because I've been gone, I was a child, now I'm grown.
He may be all grown up, but Brown smiles and laughs like any kid would at Christmas. And he's not taking life for granted or holding any grudges.
They be like, what you want? I'm like, I don't want nothing, what I'm saying? I already got what I want, what I'm saying? I got my family, my freedom,
Nearly 2 decades gone.
What kind is that anyway?
But what's not lost, his holiday appetite.
I probably eat 17 desserts today.
Too much food, so much fun. And this year, the whole family is here.
I love freedom.
Oh yes, it is Christmas. In Dallas, Darla Miles, Channel 8 News.
Christmas away from home. An ivy stand covered with ornaments, a box full of toys, and wishes for a holiday miracle.
Santa came and saw me this morning, which was pretty cool, and he gave me some presents.
Harley Duffer got one more gift. He and his family have been praying for this one for the past 3 weeks.
My heart is here.
He didn't expect it to come on Christmas.
Excitement, like I wanted to run around and jump and stuff.
But Harley can't run around anymore like most 12-year-olds. His heart is too big. Playing sports, running around with his sister, and even breathing became difficult. Only a transplant could save his life.
All right. Now, do you want to wear anything special into the operating room?
Harley's doctors are overwhelmed with joy.
It was the greatest gift, I know, for them, but for us too, for the team that's been waiting, because we just never know.
A family's prayer answered, and giving thanks to the family who lost a loved one.
We pray for that, but we think about the other parties involved too, and it's bittersweet, but we still hurt for them too. It has opened our eyes to so many things, and you tend to take life for granted or things for granted and no more.
And Harley knows no other Christmas gift will come close to this one.
I've never had real surgery, and I just think a heart transplant on Christmas is going to be remembered.
She loves the giant tree embellished with lights and shiny gold ornaments. The boxes below, the ones wrapped in Christmas bows, usually bring her Fort Worth family smiles. But this is not home, and the only gift Michelle Hamilton wants is in the heart.
I want a good memory, a wonderful day. I want my kids to smile, and despite the fact that, man, this isn't where we thought we would be, I want my kids to have joy.
8-year-old Bowen and 3-year-old Gavin have a father in need. In high school, a heart transplant saved James Hamilton's life. He married, had 2 children, and was healthy until one troubling Christmas 2 years ago when...
And then the hospital visits became more frequent.
Hamilton's new heart was failing. He spent 6 months in Houston's Methodist DeBakey Heart Center, waiting. 2 weeks ago, surgeons gave him this total artificial heart.
As you can imagine, this is a big operation for him, so he's been slowly recovering. He still requires around-the-clock intensive care unit attendance.
And he still needs more. It's why his wife and 2 sons brought Christmas presents to James's bed this morning.
My son Bowen picked with his own money a sailboat ship because they want to go sailing together when James gets well.
But only if he gets another transplant, a challenge given the current donor shortage. So this Christmas, all Michelle Hamilton wants is a heart that lasts.
In Old Town Coppell, Christmas Eve means coming together with carriage rides around town for many families. But not too far away, it's a canceled horse-drawn carriage that crippled this family's Christmas Eve party.
Oh, so disappointing. We've planned this for a long time, and these kids have wanted to do this, and here we are the day of, just hours before the party, we don't get to have it, and it's tough.
Daniel Jones says weeks ago his family began planning a huge holiday party. They were counting on Pleasures Past carriages to come through with a horse and rig, but the company had to cancel, allegedly over some permit issues with the city of Coppell.
It's terrible to have to explain to these kids that they're not going to get to do the horse and carriage ride that they thought they were coming for. It's just, it's awful.
The owner of Pleasures Past Carriages, Daniel Smart, says he had to cancel out on that private party after the city restricted the number of rigs he could have on the street to only 5 carriages.
Sorry that we had to do it. I mean, if they would have let us have 6 rigs, we could have gone over and done it.
A spokesperson from the city says the issue with the carriage ride company was in part due to public safety. She says there have been several complaints about the horse-drawn carriages and traffic concerns over the past 3 weeks. One carriage was also involved in an accident a few days ago.
Well, we just had to go down to City Hall and get the permits and stuff. You know, in the years past, we never had to permit. You know, they never said anything to us. We just had to permit the banner.
Smart says he regrets canceling the one private event. As for Jones's family, they tried finding other ways to keep the kids entertained.
Helping those in need is a big part of the holiday season, and sometimes that magic lands right on your doorstep. Let's meet a Texas family who received a Christmas surprise that turned a tough time into something unforgettable.
I do not like them in a house.
If you look on their faces, you won't see it.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
But that's a good thing.
I have 2 full-time jobs, work and the boys.
I need all the blue I can find.
A single mom with 2 boys, Keith and Kirk. Too energetic for you to realize it wasn't always like this.
Mother's Day of 2012 is when it all started.
Her youngest, Kirk, diagnosed with leukemia. Hard enough. 5 months later, Keith was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Everything changed.
What I was doing, I didn't know. I didn't understand why this was all happening to me.
For 2 years, in and out of hospitals, through chemo, through diet changes, they're still fighting. Days have ups and downs.
I don't walk in that door that I don't get a really big hug that doesn't make the day worth it.
This time, during our interview, not a hug, but a heartfelt card.
That's good. Thank you.
I like it. Thank you. Those are the moments that make it worth it. They do stuff like that all the time.
But how about a moment for them? Mike Rumfield with the Collin County Deputies Association put in a call.
How can you walk away from that? You can't walk away from helping that family out.
The police.
It is the police.
I see them.
Oh, look at their Santa!
On their street in front of their home.
Merry Christmas!
Santa comes to 2 boys who have been really good.
He's here at your house. Isn't that crazy?
And Santa did not come empty-handed.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure.
Normally limited by what ails them, today is about trying everything.
The look and the surprise and the excitement of knowing somebody's thinking about them.
Now, that's a look that can get everyone in the spirit of Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Jovan Paniker.
Merry Christmas, okay, buddy?
Channel 8 News.
It wasn't even noon yet, and the day's rush for hot tamales was in full swing.
Did you make it online?
People had already started lining up outside La Popular Tamale House at 7 this morning. It's been their busiest holiday season to date.
Tamales are kind of a tradition.
Well, next year we've learned, pre-order. I've never stood in line for tamales, but I've stood in line for food before. Tamales?
No, tamales.
The Moreno family has been in the business of selling tamales in East Dallas since the 1980s. And tamales during the holiday season are a delicious Texas tradition.
Tamales.
Jesse Moreno Sr. helps assemble the tamales by hand in the back.
Pork's coming out right now.
While son Jesse Jr. and daughter Maria
La Popular Pekin, can I help you?
take care of the front of the house. Jesse Sr. is known around here as the tamale master. He says his tamales are equal parts tradition.
Absolutely, I learned this from my mom.
And a little something special.
I think the secret here is you really gotta love what you do.
The dish is a combination of masa, plus chicken, beef, or pork, placed inside a corn husk and steamed.
Tamale means something wrapped, a little gift in Christmas. A little gift for us to understand each other.
And people can't wait to get their hands on some, if they can.
I was in line yesterday.
So you are back again.
I'm back. They said at 11, I was about 8 people back, and they said they were sold out, come back at 3.
The Tamale House stopped taking Christmas orders weeks ago.
We're going to be sold out until at least 5 o'clock.
Still, they keep making them as fast as they can, but it's first come, first serve.
I get here at 4 in the morning. I'll leave whenever the last order is filled.
Jesse Jr. updates the shop's Twitter and Facebook pages to help keep people in the know. Things will stay buzzing here through the new year.
To know that we're making Christmas a little bit brighter for someone really makes a difference, and that's why we do it.
Sarah Hoy, Channel 8 News.
Sounds often carry from inside the Tarrant County Jail to the sidewalks below, but it is not often those sounds sound like this. Yes, you're hearing what you think you're hearing. Those are Christmas carols being sung by dozens of jail inmates.
And we had other people that just stopped and were in amazement, other people that started coming out of their businesses singing with them.
Sheriff Bill Wayburn says the idea for an inmate choir came during a recent motivational ministry.
I said, man, let's do it.
So on Wednesday and Friday, they did. About 50 low-risk inmates sang it all from Deck the Halls to Feliz Navidad. Look at all the people who stopped to listen. As of Christmas Eve, the video on Facebook's been viewed nearly 30,000 times. The majority of the reaction positive. This woman commenting, "May the spirit of Christmas change the hearts of many." Wayburn shared that with the inmates.
Some of these people don't believe that they've ever impacted somebody's life positively. So when they heard that 28,000 people were impacted, it moved them also.
The sheriff understands not everyone may agree, but reminds people the majority of his inmates are people awaiting their trials.
And if we impact them positively in jail, maybe they will have more of a positive impact when they come back to be our neighbors.
The sheriff says he's gotten so much positive reaction to the singing that perhaps this will become a new holiday tradition here at the jail.
But at the end of the day, this is a season of hope. This is a season of hope. And they too need hope, and the people on the street need hope.
And he hopes that's just what they got. In Fort Worth, Lauren Zakalik, Channel 8 News.
When I think of my dad, I think of his love, I think of his generosity.
Kathleen Galvin was close with her father.
I wish he was around to talk with at times and give me his wisdom and his 2 cents worth.
And thanks to this piece of paper from 1947, she's learning a little more about the man who raised her.
Tell us what this is.
This is a letter to Santa.
Galvin's dad, T.C. Lawrence Jr., served in the Navy during World War II.
What do you think he was feeling at the time of the end of the war?
Traumatized. He didn't want that kind of thing going on anywhere in the world.
And Galvin knows that.
Dear Santa Claus, I have...
After finding a letter to Santa in some old boxes written by her father 2 years after the war ended. The first few sentences.
But would you please bring enough silver to complete her set?
A wish list for Galvin's mom. But as you get to the bottom.
For everyone else, I'd like the greatest gift of all.
Galvin's dad asks for something a little more profound.
So on your way around the world in every house, whether it be Christian, Jewish, Mohammedan, Buddhist, or even atheist, won't you please give each that priceless gift the angels sang about 1,950 years ago? Peace on earth and goodwill towards men.
It's a simple wish, but it's one Galvin is proud to read over and over again.
It was very refreshing. I was shocked that anybody could think that way in the mid-20th century, because we still don't think that way here in the 21st century. I believe everyone should read that because we are so divisive now.
So this holiday season,
we need to focus on getting together, trying to understand each other.
Galvin is following in her father's footsteps.
Just accept people.
By putting others ahead of herself. Matt Howerton, Channel 8 News.
This time of year, there's magic in the air.
Calling all stations coast to coast.
Especially here, high on a hilltop outside Denton.
Every night at this time, connecting good boys and girls with Santa Claus at the North Pole. This is Pete, KE5GGY, Denton, Texas.
Every night during the holidays, Pete Thompson helps Santa.
Well, we are the people bringing in the voice of Santa.
He's a professional broadcaster, but for more than a decade, he's done this as a hobby.
SantaNet 3916, KE5GGY, Denton, Texas.
Hosting SantaNet on ham radio.
When the conditions are right, the sunspot conditions are right, we can transmit all over the world at night.
His signal is relayed by 10 volunteers around the country, and kids everywhere are listening.
Alpha Echo in south central Kansas with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids in the trailer here wanting to talk to Santa.
It's called the North Pole, Calling Santa, Calling Santa. This is SantaNet, KE5GGY, Denton, Texas. Faustino, this is Santa Claus. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hearing Santa's voice call their name, many using radio for the first time.
Yes.
Santa has spoken to thousands of kids in nearly every state. Pete has heard all those conversations.
And that was a Roger contact here on SantaNet.
Every kid makes their request.
I would like
Direct to the North Pole.
a tiny truck.
And every kid is different.
I would like 1,000 LOLs.
When you hear that voice from far away, it is easy to believe Santa can fly through the air.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
In Denton, Bradley Blackburn, Channel 8 News.
The creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
There is something about the magic of Santa.
The stockings were hung
The way it burrows into our brains as kids.
for a long winter nap.
And it still feels so special when those children have kids of their own.
I went starting his first year, which was 1988.
This is Danielle Shermer, and the only Santa she's ever known is the one hearing wishes at North Park Center.
So I went for several years with my sister, and then when we had Wesley, our first, it was just kind of like, there's nowhere else to go.
Now it's her two boys who see him every holiday. And we know many of you have the same story. So she and her husband, documentarian Richard Shermer,
why do families go to such great lengths to literally set aside the entire day to see this man?
have started shooting a film to capture the special rarity of two generations sharing the same Santa. This week, they captured their first graders class as they wrote letters to the big guy.
Dear Santa, I would like you to bring something good to my friend Eva, your friend Genesis.
I think he sees about 300 kids a day during the season, so that's close to 9,000 to 10,000 kids. And that's happened for 31, 32 years, so you can imagine some of the stories that we're coming across.
For many, their image of Santa is a blurry outline of the man in red. Through the documentary, the Shermers aim to explain why, for thousands, this Santa's face is as clear as day.
It's like time stops, and he makes a kid feel like he's the only kid in the world.
Maybe his consistency is part of the magic.
His sole job is to take pictures with kids, but he goes above and beyond.
To these families, he is a holiday tradition, all his own. In Dallas, I'm Marisa Vedra.
In a muddy field in Frisco, right next to the North Dallas Tollway, under one of the brightest North Texas sunsets you could ask for, we found two guys named Jack and Sam spreading Christmas lights on the ground.
At least a couple hundred feet.
All of them hooked up to a generator in their attempt to make someone's night even brighter. Because 15 miles south at Addison Airport, David Snell was putting two passengers in his Cessna.
Oh my God.
Brittany Galvan and Chip Robeson.
It just looks small and I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited though.
Excited for an aerial tour of Christmas lights.
Perfect time of year for it.
Chip repeated his slight stretch of the truth once they got on the plane.
You can't beat starting Christmas like this.
Because once they got in the air and started staring down at the Christmas lights from just 1,000 feet or so, they flew over those lights that Sam and Jack had put in that field, the blue ones.
There's some lights right in that dark field. Right there, they're like really white.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they are, but you can tell me what you think they are.
The ones that said, "Marry me."
Brittany, will you marry me? I told you, I know where the best lights are to fly over. Ha ha ha.
30 minutes later, when they landed,
She said yes.
Chip was all smiles. Brittany
We're getting married.
was still crying.
He proposed. It was awesome.
About had me in tears up there.
What was that?
Yeah, we're supposed to focus on flying. She's back there bawling. It's like trying to fly and watch that. We need a tissue box for everybody up there.
Starlight Flights gives Christmas light tours almost nightly during the holidays, and this time of year, proposals are regular in-flight entertainment too.
Ah, how about those lights?
And almost always, the lights of Christmas and that tiny Cessna that Brittany was worried about usually end with a very happy yes.
That's awesome.
At Addison Airport.
Oh my God, thank you.
I'm Kevin Reese.
Okay. Happy holidays.
The power of the written word.
Hello, Blake.
Means so very much.
Merry Christmas, Blake.
To the Pyron family.
Oh, your mama.
You like it?
You might recognize Blake Pyron.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's believed to be the very first person with Down syndrome to own a business in Denton County.
Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
And Mom Marianne says Blake loves getting mail.
Back in 2014, we put out on social media that Blake loved to get Christmas cards.
Among the thousands of cards he received from all over the world that year.
It was this one.
One stood out.
And it said, Merry Christmas, Blake. I'm an 83-year-old grandma from Pennsylvania.
They wrote the stranger back like they did everyone else.
I hope you're doing well.
But then, something special happened.
Mama kept on sending cards. So we would respond too, because it's just such a kind thing that you can do to brighten someone's day.
And for 5 years now.
Merry Christmas. Best wishes from
Chrissy.
The cards
Is that fun?
have kept coming.
Hi, Blake. Happy birthday, Blake. A Valentine's hi. Happy Easter. Love your graduation picture. Wow. You sure have a lot of medals.
And days ago, Mama sent this.
It says, Hi, Blake. I'm slowing down a little, so I don't get to send as many cards off. But think of you often and enjoy following you on Facebook. Keep up the good work. Love and best wishes for Mama.
It's a special bond they have, one that started simply with kind Christmas words from a stranger.
Wow.
And one that has evolved.
And Merry Christmas, Blake.
Into so much more.
Best wishes.
In Sanger.
Proud of all you do.
I'm Lauren Zakalik.
Last December, Matthew Conley had barely put a bow on his Christmas mission when he decided to deliver something greater. As we first reported last year, Matthew's mission was to spread kindness.
I just wanted to start giving Christmas cards to teachers.
Each year since 5th grade, Matthew has given Christmas cards to every teacher, cafeteria worker, and janitor here in Cleburne.
I just feel teachers are underappreciated.
Even more amazing is that he still does, despite graduating 6 years ago.
As you can imagine, that takes a lot of work, which is why Matthew was planning to scale back until the pandemic exposed him to thousands of incredible teachers all over the state.
This year, he mailed more than 2,000 Christmas cards, one for every school district in Texas.
I want them to feel valued, appreciated, and loved.
That's all he expects. In fact, he's pretty much never gotten a response until recently, when a woman approached him at work to say, thank you.
She used to be a former cafeteria worker, and that was encouraging to me, and that there is hope out there among the chaos. There is the light.
In a year where so many have lost so much, Matthew has found at least 2,000 reasons to be thankful. Because of him, no teacher in Texas will spend the holiday unappreciated. From El Paso to Beaumont, Amarillo to Houston, a good reminder that a kind word goes a very long way. In Cleburne, I'm Sean Giggy.
2020 will forever be remembered as the year that took our treasured traditions and turned them upside down. Visits with Santa included. But just like the rest of us, Santa has adapted.
Santa, it's so good to see you.
And it's good to see you too.
Santa has gone virtual.
And it's just it's been an incredible experience being able to share holiday cheer in these unprecedented times.
Hey everybody, Santa's ready.
From his workshop in the North Pole, he's using websites like Jingle Ring or Kringle Mingle to schedule online visits.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
With good little girls and good little boys.
You like Paw Patrol?
Yeah, I do.
Santa, who spends a lot of time in Fort Worth,
To see the faces light up,
is thrilled his favorite season has been salvaged.
it's just been a ball.
And it's been providing some pretty precious memories.
I have a nice list and a naughty list, and so I must ask, what list do you think you're on?
I think I'll be on both.
Really? You can only be on one. Nope.
I've been a little naughty and a little nice.
Santa thinks this pandemic pivot might actually stick around for Christmases to come.
I really feel this is here to stay. I really feel this is going to be another avenue.
After all, who doesn't want yet another way to connect with Mr. Claus? In Fort Worth, I'm Lauren Zakalik.
As we watch our communities get all adorned in decorations, inviting the Christmas season, someone special is also watching closely.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Ho, 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 ho.
Santa Larry, a familiar face around Dallas, has already been busy traveling from North Texas to his workshops in malls across the country. And he says the coronavirus pandemic sure is changing things.
Last year, we were having in-person contact, in-person visits. I was able to hold children, hug children, and parents alike.
Santa Larry says safety concerns around COVID-19 now have him, other Santa's helpers, and many malls switching up the way they work this holiday season.
We've gone from doing in-person visits to virtual Santa visits.
Santa Larry and other holiday helpers are setting up online visits for children and families.
Where I'm at right now, up until Friday, we were doing in-person Santa visits where people could come to my workshop. But then we had such a high spike in the COVID activities here in Minnesota that the governor issued some mandates and orders.
A virtual visit is non-traditional, but Santa Larry feels confident families can still experience the joy and magic of the holiday season.
And it's so relaxing. You're in your comfort of your home. You don't have to get out your house and drive to the mall and things of that nature.
Many local malls are coordinating special visits with Santa through their websites, but you should check soon since virtual visit lists for the season are already filling up fast.
Hi, North Texas. Love you.
In Dallas, I'm Damon Fernandez.
KGAF is the tiny radio station in Gainesville.
It is the time we have all been waiting for.
Today, the station manager wears the loudest of Christmas blazers.
I thought I was flamboyant.
The morning co-host reindeer pajamas.
Not just any reindeer. I believe I am Rudolph.
And wear for 3 Christmases in a row now.
$20,000 in cash.
A briefcase is filled with $100 bills.
All right, let's go to line number 1.
The gift of 2 secret Santas.
I lost my sister in July.
For anyone in Cook County in need.
It's been a lot. It's been a hectic year.
Well, we're going to give you $500 in cash from the Secret Santas to help your Christmas happen this year.
Oh my God, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
But this year, in these 40 phone calls, you heard one word.
Dealing with COVID.
More than any other.
My son had COVID. Still fighting COVID and pneumonia.
I haven't really been able to work in the past few months because of the COVID and everything being shut down.
My fiance and I both lost our jobs during COVID.
COVID is very much touching this rural corner of Texas, too.
It's been a little bit hard since COVID hit. My husband had to find a new job.
So. All right, we're going to give you $500 in Christmas cash.
Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, that's it. We just gave away $20,000. My goodness.
And this year, with COVID very much in mind, the callers in their cars lined up outside. Tiffany Diaz recovered from COVID.
It's no joke. It's not something to mess around with.
Donna Day now with money for the medicine for her quarantined brother.
But he's going to be much better once he gets the medicine that he needs.
But if you go back to those phone calls.
Well, my husband has been sick, and they cut his hours at work due to his health, and this will give us a better Christmas.
No one appreciated that $500 more than Deborah Salas.
We're going to give you $500 in Secret Santa cash.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, thank you,
And when the phone calls ended, she and her son were first in line.
That's $500 in cash.
Thank you.
Merry
you,
Christmas.
guys. I just thank y'all so much. So much.
The need was certainly there this year, perhaps even greater than the years past.
The people who offer this money each year still ask to remain anonymous. Scenes like these are the only repayment they ask.
And that's amazing.
Amazing all that much more if next year there is no COVID and only Christmas spirit like this in the air.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
In Gainesville, I'm Kevin Reese.
This time of year, neighborhoods always look different.
You know, it's kind of a COVID Christmas.
Except Greg Rogers saw something this year in a pandemic he didn't like so much. His Dallas neighborhood could be more neighborly. The sidewalks were empty.
I started this probably about 2 weeks ago.
So he drew up a plan to fix it, to get people safely outside.
Yeah, they call me the chalk man.
Greg Rogers would say he is no artist, but he can tell quite a story with some chalk, fingers, and faith.
I think God made us for relationship.
The walkway in front of their home tells Greg's view of the Christmas story.
The attention starts to go more towards the center, which is the nativity.
And within days, people showed up.
Kind of gives them a destination to go to.
Dozens each day, actually.
That's so amazing.
People once seemingly in isolation.
Then I started noticing slowly the family started coming back and started walking.
Whether it's to catch a glimpse or for the Lees, simply to connect again.
It's great to be out and about.
Greg wants you to see the story more than his work.
Life's not always about just being safe. It's there's surviving and there's living.
And nothing beats living in a neighborhood that's also neighborly.
Every time it rains, I get a new canvas.
In Dallas, I'm Joe Panic.
Better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus.
It is not just a season for the Kidwells.
365 days a year.
But a year-long passion spanning 35 years.
It's just such a joyful character.
Tucked away in McKinney, these toy makers build on tradition, an inspiration drawn since childhood.
Certainly feel his presence in everything that we do.
If Santa ever deviated from traditional red and white, Brian and Cynthia Kidwell have likely made it.
A lot of our stuff is farm fresh.
Scouring the country's garages and barns to honor the big man.
One man's trash is another man's
Santa.
From the conventional to the couture, like this 7-foot Louis Vuitton Santa.
Now that'll put you in the holiday spirit, won't it?
Married 37 blissful years, husband and wife have been working side by side to make these handcrafted heirloom Santas. At one point, they made 25 a week. Now they're made to order and back-ordered for months.
Santa baby.
He's going to have a pouch.
They might make Santas, but in this toy shop, they're really making legacy.
His thumbprint is everywhere on everything we do.
Brian's father, Al, was an artist.
I've got new hammers, but I want my dad's hammer.
A creator who saw the whimsy in the things once forgotten.
We have to maximize every part.
Even when that part was his own likeness.
It's almost like he was doing self-portraits. All of these faces are faces that he sculpted.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Santa reimagined. Al has passed on. Even his used brushes make art. But what he started, a son and daughter-in-law have continued.
I mean, the root of all of it is just
gratitude.
Yeah.
And that feeling of gratitude makes the season and this toy shop run. In McKinney, I'm Joe Panic.
After moving to Midlothian a few months ago, Rafael Martinez wanted to go all out for Christmas. But just as he started hanging his first light, things went dark.
And randomly I woke up in a hospital. That's all I remember.
Last weekend, from the top of his roof, Rafael had a seizure and fell nearly 2 stories to the ground below. Security cameras captured the moment first responders rushed him to the hospital. Firefighter-paramedic Shane Baylor was working when the call came in.
When you hear code 3 to Methodist Dallas, at that point you kind of realize that it's something significant.
Incredibly, though, Rafael, who has no history of seizures, suffered no serious injuries, only a bruised ego.
All my neighbors all have lights, and I kind of was sad that, I was the odd man out still,
And because doctors told him not to go back on the roof, there was no way his lights were getting hung until he got a knock at the door.
Said, hey, you started a project, I'm gonna help you finish it.
On his day off, firefighter Baylor finished the job.
He tried to hand me money, and I said, that's not what we do here in Texas, and especially here in Midlothian, we take care of each other.
Besides, he says he got something far more valuable, a friendship.
The conversation, that was even better.
The two spent so much time getting to know each other. A job that normally takes an hour lasted 4 hours.
It reminds me that there's still great people in the community that look out for their neighbor.
I get this feeling that to you don't feel like you did anything special.
No.
He really helped me out.
Helping others is easy when you find your light and let it shine.
Yeah, he did a great job.
In Midlothian, I'm Sean Giggy.
Perhaps Jerry Cox had to work a little harder to reach the end of this aisle. Unlike the groom,
you're beautiful. This is your day.
Letitia Johnson didn't believe in love at first sight. But 7 years after a chance encounter at the grocery store, their eyes cast no doubt.
Will I love her and comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health?
The 12-seat Dallas chapel could not contain all the friends and family eager to declare the couple's devotion permanent.
Be joined together.
The ceremony came together too fast to get everyone a seat.
One more time for the Holy Ghost.
But sometimes, love can't wait any longer.
I couldn't ask for anything more, that our families, literally come to the hospital, just to celebrate us.
Letitia Johnson has stage 4, late-stage ovarian cancer. This is the wedding date she dreamed of, the partner she prayed for, and a venue she did not expect.
It defines how much we love each other, how much he's willing to be there for me.
Their vows then were powerful.
Never forsake you.
He promised steadfast loyalty. She promised rainbows after every storm. And breaking from tradition, the newlyweds offered the advice after this union.
When you know who the love of your life is, don't let time slip by.
In Dallas, I'm Matt Houston.
The Rankin family in North Carolina got a Christmas surprise much earlier than expected. Their 3-year-old middle child waking his parents at 3 a.m.
Both of us went to sleep thinking everything was fine, everything was great. And then we were awoken with a request for scissors.
Where are the scissors?
Our 3-year-old had gone downstairs and he had opened every single present.
That's right, their little toddler had opened everyone's presents hours before the sun came up on Christmas morning.
When I heard that noise, we thought, surely there's no way. I mean, he must have just found one and came back upstairs. And when I went downstairs, I could not believe it. Literally every little tiny thing except for the stockings were unwrapped.
The initial response was shock because it required a lot of work, almost like remaking the magic for them.
But the boy explaining it was all for a just cause.
He told us, he was like, well, I just was trying to make it less confusing. I wanted to open them so that everyone kind of understood what presents were for who.
Parents Scott and Katie frantically rewrapping all of the presents in time for a holiday they'll never forget.
Our 6-year-old had no idea. He could not care less that things were imperfect. He was just so happy that the magic had happened.
It was just the wildest story we'll probably ever experience at Christmas that we will tell for years and years to come. I joked that we would write it into his wedding speech for sure.
Merry Christmas! Thank you so much for doing this. If you've ever been to the mock Christmas display in Ennis,
wonderful thing to do for the community.
Thank you. You know the couple who created the free and beloved light show.
Is this your first year doing this?
Oh no. Is crazy about Christmas.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little. In fact, Patrick and Natasha Mock's love story started with their shared love of the holiday.
Somebody hearted my Christmas photo on the dating app we met on.
3 years ago to the day, they married at a Christmas-themed wedding featuring snow and a tree and reindeer and a Grinch.
So it's well, the one thing that we're missing at our wedding is actually a Santa Claus and a Mrs. Claus, because I mean, we're the Christmas couple.
By chance, the day before the wedding at a Corsicana bakery, Natasha met an older couple sharing a cookie, dressed up as Santa and Mrs. Claus.
You could tell that they loved Christmas so much, and it just kind of reminded me of us, and just told them that I was getting married the next day and it was going to be a Christmas wedding.
They congratulated her, asked a little about the wedding, and then Natasha left. Never thought to ask if they would be her Santa and Mrs. Claus, but somehow they just knew and showed up at the wedding after the ceremony for photos.
And then just kind of disappeared in the crowd, I guess. We never saw him after that.
Natasha and Patrick never got to say thank you, never even learned their names, and have tried hard ever since to track them down.
And no luck for 3 years.
Their prayer this season is that a quick spot on WFAA might do the trick. If you know this Mr. and Mrs. Claus and would come forward, well, what a Christmas miracle that would be.
It's been a mystery. It was magical when they showed up, and so we just wanted to give them a little bit of that magic back.
In Ennis, I'm Sydney Persing. Like kids on Christmas,
I'm just really excited.
Natasha and Patrick Mock do their best to wait patiently.
3 years I've been trying to find them.
For a gift years in the making.
I'm excited.
One day before their Christmas-themed wedding at a Corsicana bakery, Natasha spotted an older couple dressed as Santa and Mrs. Claus, told them about her wedding and love of everything Christmas, then left, never expecting they'd show up the next day, pose for pictures, then disappear.
It was just such a mystery.
Until we aired a story on WFAA about their quest to find Kris Kringle and his wife.
I'm just ready to see them.
Someone who knows Santa saw it.
There they are.
And Wednesday, the Clauses came to the Mock's home in their F-150 sleigh.
Oh, they're in their stuff!
To make their Christmas wish come true.
Oh my goodness! Hi! I'm gonna cry. I'll get both of you back.
Instead of Santa bearing gifts,
they're so cute.
The Mocks gave him one.
You guys didn't have to do that.
And Santa ate his cookies.
Right out here, the bench where it all happened.
Where their friendship first formed.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
It takes a lot to surprise a Santa.
Totally shocked.
Of nearly 40 years.
You don't expect something like that.
But the Mock's overwhelming joy.
Seriously, like, who has Santa crash their wedding? I mean,
strong enough to blow even Santa away.
Okay, 2, 1.
Oh, how beautiful.
And under the Mock's magnificent Christmas display, the spirit of Santa Claus truly shined so bright.
Not just for you.
In Ennis.
But for us too.
I'm Sydney Persing.
Telling Santa what you want for Christmas.
I want a banana for Christmas. A cute little dress, Legos. I'm asking for Nintendo.
Is a big moment.
That's cool. You can ask him right now. Yay, finally.
Even if.
To me, it's really important to have a real beard.
Bye-bye.
It's not the real Santa.
Come here, I want you to sit on my lap, okay? Is that all right? You don't have to be a big jolly guy, but if you have a beard, you can see them connect. You have the best freckles.
Tom Denolf certainly looks like the big guy.
I love Christmas, it's my favorite. Me too.
But this old St. Nick,
I'm 65 years old,
isn't feasting on milk and cookies.
I like to work out with the young guys, the young people. They're surprised at my fitness level. I think I'm surprised at my fitness level sometimes too.
Oh, holy night.
I think I can bench 195.
Tom's a walking oxymoron.
Back squat is 265.
A jacked Santa.
I can deadlift 365.
Every December, Denolf dresses up like Father Christmas for charity. His booking fee funds toys for kids who need it in Dallas. But the rest of the year,
I just decided that I didn't want to just sit on the couch.
Denolf is a CrossFit athlete.
I can't believe I did it.
This year, he punched his second ticket to the 65 and over CrossFit Games.
65 years young.
And finished 6th in the entire world.
Are any other Santas jealous of your fitness?
No, we don't play that game. No, I've never heard another Santa bring that up. Are you excited about Christmas?
Yes.
It's only 5 days away.
Moments like these.
This world can be pretty rough.
They're what Denolf really looks forward to every year.
Making the kids feel important.
Greater.
That's what's important.
I want you to not work that hard.
Oh, it's okay.
Than lifting anyway.
It's Christmas time. I don't mind working hard.
And it doesn't matter if you're trim or
Fat because he eats a lot of cookies.
They just want to be heard. They want to be seen and heard. I hope I give them a memory, but I know that they give me one for sure.
In Dallas.
Whew, that was too light.
I'm Matt Howerton.
Thank you for spending this time with us and celebrating the stories that remind us of the love and joy in this world. As we reflect on these moments that have inspired and brought us together, we hope this special program leaves you with a sense of joy, hope, and gratitude. From all of us here at WFAA, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for watching.